So, do you think generative AI will disrupt your association or will it propel it to new heights? That's what you want to answer as an executive at an association. Generative AI integration can definitely propel your association to new heights if you use it effectively. It can be used to enhance productivity and efficiency. It can improve member engagement. It can improve operational excellence for associations. But it does present challenges and risks that you need to address. One of the biggest challenges is resistance to change. There's fears around job displacement by staff, worries by volunteers around disruption to workflows, and members more broadly are also facing disruptions to their workflows and fears around layoffs with the usage of generative AI in whatever roles they're working on, whatever corporations they're working in. And so you want to be careful and thoughtful about this resistance to change, from fears around job displacement, of resistance to change around disruption to workflows, resistance to change around the loss of the human touch. Another issue is a lack of understanding and expertise. That can create skepticism and slow adoption. So I've given a lot of keynotes and training workshops where I've seen this be the crucial issue. So you need to provide education and training for effective implementation of generative AI by your staff, by your volunteers, and more broadly, its acceptance among your membership. Now, a third issue is technical integration. So you have legacy systems that for CRM, for member engagement, that requires resources for testing, alignment of systems, vendor collaboration, and incremental rollouts with pilot testing. And that's something you need to be prepared for and ready to make sure that your legacy systems are going to align with generative AI. There are some risks of generative AI disruption more broadly, even if you overcome these challenges. And they include data privacy and security concerns. There's, of course, sensitive member data that you have, sensitive financial information that's processed by AI, and that you need to be wary of leaking out there. So you need to use the right systems with the right protection. There's also concerns about bias in AI systems that can lead to unfair outcomes, which of course challenge your commitment as an association executive to equity and inclusivity. There's also concerns that over-reliance on AI can erode human judgment, critical thinking, and the human touch, human-centric appeal of associations. Being an association is part of a community. And of course, if you use generative AI, there's concerns that you will undermine the community element of an association. There are also some ethical dilemmas around the role of AI and its alignment with your organizational values more broadly. So thinking about that and addressing that risk is important. Now, how do you address these challenges and mitigate risks? So you want to invest into thorough and comprehensive education and training to build literacy among your members, among your staff and your volunteers in the use of generative AI and how it effectively aligns with the goals of your organization. And you want to make sure that your chapters of your association do so on that chapter level as well. Communicate transparently about the use of AI as a collaborative tool, not as a tool for displacing jobs of staff. Pilot generative AI tools before wider implementation to make sure that if there's any conflicts with legacy systems or poor problematic usage by members, in chapters, and of course by your staff and volunteers, which is more important and something you can have more control over, that you build stakeholder confidence and engage them effectively and address those issues in advance. For example, you can have some chapters that are more forward-oriented, experiment with generative AI. You can have some staff that are more forward-oriented, experiment with generative AI, and some volunteers. Set up a volunteer council devoted to generative AI implementation and make sure that they evaluate and improve generative AI adoption in your association. Going on to data privacy, establish clear data security measures, encryption, access controls, and compliance checks on using generative AI effectively and where the data goes. Maintain human oversight to make sure that AI supports rather than replaces human decision-making, and monitor for and address any biases in your AI system to make sure that the outcomes you have are equitable and inclusive. Preserve the human touch. Balance generative AI-driven personalization with strong interpersonal engagement. Use the kind of personalization enabled by AI to ensure that your staff members and volunteers can do more high-level human in-person engagement work. Opportunities for growth. You want to be able to think about the opportunities for growth. You can do so by addressing resistance and adapt AI responsibly. That will position your association as a forward-oriented one. Generative AI can definitely amplify the human capabilities of your staff and your volunteers. It will streamline operations, enhance member engagement when used ethically and thoughtfully. So you want to balance the technological advancement with human-centric values. That's what will help ensure that your association remains indispensable to your communities. All right, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this information. And if you want to learn more, email me at gleb@disasteravoidanceexperts.com. Again, gleb, Gleb, @disasteravoidanceexperts.com.